Welcome to our podcast. This is The Knitting Place, and you are here at 191 Main Street in Port Washington. I'm Dina Moore. I'm the owner of the shop.
And that is on Long Island,
New York.
New York, if you couldn't tell. Dina is the owner of this great shop. How long have you owned the shop, Dina?
Almost 20 years.
Wow.
I can't believe I'm saying that.
You
20.
must have been 18 when you opened the shop.
Close to it.
Anyway, Dina, let's tell everybody a little bit about ourselves. How did you open the shop? What made you open the shop in Port Washington?
I opened the shop in Port Washington for various reasons. I happened to be pregnant and I miscarried. I was volunteering at a shop in Great Neck, which is where my hometown is. It's about 20 minutes from Port Washington, and it was devastating, very tragic for me. I needed to do something for myself. I had two beautiful children at home, and I felt like it was time for me to do something for myself. I love knitting. I knit for the kids, and I decided that after volunteering at the shop in Great Neck, I thought it would be a good time to open up my own shop.
And there just happened to be a shop here in Port Washington.
Yes, in my search, I saw a vacant place right here in the same location that I am right now, 191, and it actually used to be a yarn shop that was here owned by another woman named Anne Louise.
She also sold needlepoint too.
Yes, it was Needle Pointers by Anne Louise.
Right.
And the store was vacant. It seemed like
It was calling you.
it was definitely there was a calling.
meant to be.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I called the real estate broker. We sat down. We negotiated a lease, and
The rest is history.
that's right.
So now enter Pam.
Pam.
How do I enter this scenario, Dina?
Well, Pam was a customer of mine. She came in many moons ago.
Yeah.
I think her
And
first.
I was 25. She was 18 and I was 25. I was actually looking for a needlepoint because at
Yes.
the time you did sell needlepoint.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I had lovely needle points, and Pam was in looking for a baby gift for her dear friend who was having a baby, and she bought these beautiful christening boots.
Correct.
Do you remember that?
I do. They were beautiful. She still has them. The baby now is a sophomore in college, so it goes to show you how long ago that was.
They were really pretty.
They were gorgeous.
Anyway, Pam was an avid needle pointer,
And Dinah said to me, "Do you knit or crochet?" And I said, "Yes, I can do both." And she said, "Well, what have you made?" And I said, "Oh, I can't make anything because I never really made anything. I just crocheted blankets occasionally."
I convinced her that she could,
Right.
and she cast on a blanket. Was that for Patrice?
No, that was also for Kathy. That was
Was
for the
it?
baby too. It was like a pink, like a gingham print in pinks is what it was, in crocheted squares.
Right.
And then my
Lots of
next
logo.
project was for Patrice, and that was made out of a yarn called chinchilla at the
Yes.
time, and which is a very fuzzy yarn, so it was all knit, and it went like this.
She kept increasing, and it
'Cause I
looked like
couldn't
a
see what I
giant
was doing.
sleeve.
So Dinah came in, and of course we did rip it. We took it all out, and
Yep.
took it off the needles. Anyway, but that's how I really began knitting again, and I never stopped. It just became an addiction, from one project to the next. Learning as I went along. And fast forward about what? It was maybe about 8 years later.
How'd you end up working here?
Well, my first child had just started college. We should go back for a second. I have 4 children. Dinah
have
has
4
4
children.
children. You have 2 boys and 2 girls.
Yep.
I have 3 girls and a boy. There was also another gal associated with the shop a few years ago.
Yes, I used to have a partner here, Michelle Agna.
She also had 4 children. So you have to have 4 children to work here. Anyway, my oldest went off to college, and I was looking to do something, so I had, on a lark one day, walked into Michael's as they were opening up a store here locally in the area, and I was working there. Happened to be in the yarn area, and Dinah came in one day.
I saw Pam stocking shelves, and I said, oh my God, this cannot be. I came back to the shop, I spoke to Michelle, and I said, Michelle, you have to ring up Pam and ask her if she wants to work in the knitting place.
And the rest is history.
That's correct.
That was a few years ago. I mean, that was probably about 12 years ago, actually, right?
Yeah, more than a few.
Yeah. So, that's our the knitting place history of Dinah and Pam. And I think, is there anything else we need to say about it?
I'm sure things will come up.
Yeah, we'll
And
find out things
as we
about
get
us.
to them.
Yep.
We'll talk about it.
There you go.
Nothing to hide.
But anyway, we were at TNNA recently, and some fellow shop
I'm watching
owners,
her knit, by the way. She's got her needles in her hand, and I'm like,
she's like, I want to knit. So go ahead, Dinah, take out your knitting.
I don't know what to knit on.
Which project?
I know.
There
Sorry.
are too many. Anyway, and fellow yarn shop owners said to Dinah,
You have to podcast. We have our friends up in Canada, Melissa and Lisa from East Bass Tricot, and there was Skein Cocaine and Katie Girl Knits,
and then there was Knot House.
Knot House Yarns.
She podcasts with her
Yep.
daughter, two owners of that shop, and they're down in Virginia, right? Is it Virginia or Maryland?
I think she's in Maryland.
Maryland?
And Skein Cocaine is in Virginia.
If we've got the wrong state,
We
with the wrong
apologize.
names, we apologize. I'm terrible with names. I will be going to Dinah 90% of the time for the names that I can't remember.
And I go to Pam.
Well, I probably won't know. Anyway, so here we are today, and it's the end of the day, so we look terrible. Maybe we've been working all day, right,
We
Dana?
have to do this early in the
It
morning.
was
I
a
think,
very
next
long
time.
day because we're closing tomorrow, right?
We are going on vacation.
Correct. So
It's July 4th weekend, and we are getting an early start. We are taking a week off, which is something that we don't normally do. We are looking forward to it, and we hope to be well rested and back to business on July 6th.
that's absolutely right. Well rested, and maybe we'll have some knitting done too to show for it, right?
I hope so.
Anyway, so now we were going to talk about, we were deciding what we should talk about, and we're going to talk about things maybe that we've made, that we're currently making, we're in the process of making.
Popular projects that are going on in the shop. Pam and I are always working on different projects, or sometimes we're doing the same projects
Yeah.
that are current.
We probably do that too often.
Yeah,
We like a
we
project.
like the same thing.
We have 3 of them. The next thing you know, there are 3 of them being made, but in any event, go ahead.
I'm wearing Find Your Fade. It's a beautiful shawl by Andrea Mowry. I'm sure many of you have heard about it. It's a 7 skein or 7 color shawl, and it goes from point to point. It's quite large.
We're not even seeing the beginning.
You can't
colors
even
yet.
see the whole thing.
I think you started with that end, right, Dinah? The pink
Yes,
end?
I actually started down here with the dark pink,
Right.
and then you color melt, and as you color melt, you fade into new colors, and you end up with your final color. It was a fun piece. It was
What
done
yarn
with,
did you use, hon?
I used Hedgehog Fibers, the sock base. I don't know if you could get a close-up of that, but I'll try and stay steady.
This was all sock, so there was no skinny hedgehog in this.
No, it was all sock base. It was a fun knit, garter stitch and lace, constantly moving. There's a center spine, so you have to have a marker marking your center spine. You have
Right.
to keep count on your stitches, and you also have to know what row you're on so you can do the melt.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was a fun project.
Well, nowadays, we were talking about this at the show, about how much of the projects, how much of the shop inventory nowadays is taken up with fingering yarn, because there are so many popular pieces done with the fingering. Correct?
It's a fun piece, yes. You need to stock a lot of fingering weight. Fingering weight is not necessarily for socks anymore. It's a popular base for shawls.
It's very pretty.
Sweaters, actually. Joji Locatelli's boxy sweater.
Yeah,
Find Your
that's
Fade
been
sweater.
very popular, yes.
Is it Find Your Fade? No.
Which?
So Faded is the sweater.
So Faded is. Yeah, we have a couple of customers that have started that have taken the plunge with So Faded. We even have a customer who made it into a little child sweater, a baby
That
sweater.
was very sweet.
Which was very cute, too.
The
It's a
mini
good way to
version
use up some of your yarns that
Scrap
you might
yarns.
have left over from items like this,
from your fade.
right?
Absolutely.
What else?
What else?
Now, Dinah was the hit of the show, TNNA,
I wouldn't say the hit,
because
but
she finished the knit-along, the starting point knit-along.
from Joji Locatelli.
Correct.
I'm quite pleased with it.
Yep.
It was a big splash. I stayed on point This is the
With
two
your starting point, correct?
pieces
This is
that
the
were
center join.
merged together.
Right. Now
This
this
is
one
my
you use
color
different
palette.
yarns, right? Different
Yes.
fibers?
Hohe said that you really could pick any fingering weight yarn, so I didn't restrict myself in this project. I used Hedgehog Sock. I used Hedgehog Skinny. I used Madeline Tosh Merino Light. And you can't even tell the difference between the fibers. I will tell you, I must have started this project.
How many times did you
How
start
many
it,
times?
Dinah? I would
least
say 5 times.
At least 5 times. And I got through clue number 1 5 times with various colors.
Before she picked her final color.
I'm embarrassed to tell you how many skeins of yarn I actually wound to
She's
get
so
my perfect
embarrassed that she's
palette.
hiding them. We can't find them all. We couldn't
I've
find
been
them because
stashing
she's
them in
got
the
them in different places. But that's what it's all about, you know. Such a fun part of any of these projects is picking the yarn and picking the colors. But with this one, it's always a little more difficult when you didn't know what this was going to look like.
Yeah,
It was a
this was a
mystery
mystery
knit
knit
along.
along.
So, yeah.
And Hohe, had described how to set up for your color choices. You needed a light, you needed 2 mediums, you needed a dark, and 1 marled in between. Well, needless to say, I did knit it and swatch it and follow through on clue number 1. And until I fell in a color palette that I actually liked, clue number 2 came along, and then the stripe pattern changed completely. So all my energies in clue number 1 were basically wasted.
It didn't apply to
It
clue
did not
number
apply.
But you did fine. And this is actually for you now, Dinah. This is a little bit out of the box in terms of a color palette.
Yes, definitely. I don't normally knit with these colors. However, I love the colors.
Mm-hmm. And I
I've
love
worn
that
it.
X, that big
It
motif
is such a
on the
fabulous pattern. If you're thinking about making it, there's it's really predominantly garter stitch with a little bit of lace, and Hohe did an absolutely lovely job. I'm trying to hone in on some of the different pattern stitches.
Yeah, the lace stitch here is pretty.
You definitely stayed interested. The way she set up the clues was engaging. I found the clues to be achievable at the end of each week.
Some people
easy to
though are
attain.
saying that it's almost like knitting socks because you had to do 2 of every clue.
Oh, definitely.
So you had to do clue 1 twice,
She was
clue 2 twice.
Very smart in saying if you started with the knit along. I don't know how how the pattern actually reads now that everything is complete, but when I do sell the yarn for somebody who's interested in making the project now, I do advise them to keep on par with both sections so that you don't fall into second sock syndrome and you do one portion of the scarf and then you are too tired to do the other. So I definitely recommend working both sides equally, and then when you're ready for the merge, you're basically ready for both. So that was a really fun knit.
So those 2 projects, Dinah's really there's a lot of knitting on those 2 things. Find
Yes.
Your Fate and the mystery knit along.
That was a lot of knitting,
I,
as
on the other hand,
what?
crocheted something very quickly.
Oh yes, Pam decides that she needs a new scarf at TNNA, one that will match her new denim dress.
Because I'm very vain. And I had a denim dress.
And so what does she do? She takes
I took some yarn.
5 skeins of skinny jeans, was
Yes,
it?
it was actually, and I only ended up using 4 as it turned out. And an M as in Mary crochet hook.
Look at this beautiful pattern.
And I crocheted this up. I started on the plane out to Ohio, to Columbus, and I finished it.
48 hours later,
Yep.
fresh Sunday morning, she was wrapped in this gorgeous sea-girt shawl,
Right, which is
an
lovely.
E-pattern,
Yep, for Taki.
Taki yarns.
And the yarn is called Skinny Jeans, and it comes in 3 shades
You
of
need
denim.
to fix your hair, young lady.
Well, you just messed it up when you took the shawl up.
Sorry.
Anyway, it comes in a light denim, medium denim, which is this, and then a darker denim. It's almost like a black denim, right?
Yeah, definitely darker blue.
So anyway, so that was my very, unlike Dinah, very quick project, right, Dinah?
Yes.
Right.
But Pam and I did finish another project.
Well, as we said before, we sometimes pick projects we both like.
Yep.
And we're both making them, so we can't both make them. And sometimes Joan, who works here, also, actually, we did 3 of these. We
Yes,
did 3 of
3
these.
samples of
3
the scarfy
samples.
thing
Yeah, where's yours, Dinah?
here in the shop.
Okay.
We've
and
been on a sock yarn binge here. This is our scarfy thing. It's a
Right
pattern
side,
by
wrong side.
Beata Jezik. She is the owner and creator of the Hedgehog Yarns.
Well, maybe we'll hold it like this, whichever way. We should maybe wear it.
We can wear it.
I used hedgehog sock.
What'd you use?
I used sock. You used sock too, right?
Yep.
And then I started with some mini skeins we had, but then what I ended up doing is I had so much at home in my stash that I liked better. I added those colors in, and as the pattern says, she's like, just go with it. Pick up one way, pick up. She really just says, do what you want to do. And that's basically what we did. So you see, we have two scarfy things.
It was a fun pattern.
It was fun.
Little addicting.
And then we did the I-cord
I-cord
edging, right?
Yep. Here's a close-up of it, if you could see. Kind of neat. You
Yep.
just pick up and knit. It's an attached I-cord edging. So when you're done, all you basically have to do are weave in the ends.
Right. Well, if we followed her directions, which we didn't in that regard, she did say to weave as you were going along.
Yeah.
But we didn't. We
I
but it
saved my
was-
ends till the end.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad because the ones on the edge you could put into the I-cord. So it really
It would have
wasn't
been a waste
bad.
to actually weave those ends in.
Yeah, so I just found it was faster. I did though at the end run
very
out
pretty.
of. I used the color Monarch and the color Poppy, and I ran out
Very
at
pretty.
the end. So then I had at home. I think this is Quagu. I had some Quagu, so I put some Quagu in two different spots. That's
Let's
one
talk
of them.
about these colors. These are the mini skeins from
Right.
Hedgehog.
Right.
The little sock yarn mini skeins. I think
She says to use 11 colors. Yep.
Yeah.
But you didn't do that.
No, I definitely reduced the number of colors, and I kind of just repeated colors throughout my
You
shawl.
probably did 5 or 6 colors, right?
Approximately.
Mm-hmm.
I started to take notes in the beginning to write exactly what I did in case anyone wanted to duplicate it, but I
we-
kind of lost my
Yeah, it's really a kind of
lost my
thing.
way halfway.
If you can't just let go in the process with
Yeah,
this.
I think I was trying to control it too much.
Matter of fact, Joan, when she did hers, she didn't do the I-cord edging. She crocheted the edging, which is fine. You can make it whatever you want it to be, and
It
that's
actually
fine
looked
too.
nice.
Yep.
Single crochet and a crab stitch.
Yep.
Another beautiful option for a
Right.
beautiful edge.
Right. This is a fun project. Of course, it's a little warm right now to wear it, but in the fall, I'm sure we'll be wearing.
I'm actually
Wearing
cold
the
here
one.
in the shop, so I'm
Well,
going to put my
Dinah's
other
always
shoulder-
cold, and I'm wearing a tank top, which because I am hot. And what else now, Dinah? What else did we do?
Well, why don't we talk about what's on our needles now?
Okay, you go first.
I go first. Well, my son, Zach,
Oh,
God
he
bless him, just turned 18 years old on June 21st.
Just graduated high school,
He did.
headed off to college.
He's headed off, and he made a special request for cashmere socks.
Now you have to know, Dinah is not a sock knitter.
No, I'm not. My sock fell on the floor.
But when your child asks you for something,
You got to make them.
you got to do it.
So here is an ankle sock. I kind of cheated.
Why is it an ankle sock,
Because
Dinah?
I did not want to knit 2 full socks.
Oh,
So
but
I
now,
went for the ankle sock.
okay.
What?
I was just gonna say you knit that whole big shawl from
I know,
Yogi
so bad.
Locatelli, but that was huge with 2 matching sections. But anyway, what yarn did you use for that?
I used Luxadorna Knits.
The cashmere, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
Cashmere Sport DK.
Mhm.
I actually knitted on a size 2 needle. It's quite lovely.
Very,
They fit
very
him nicely.
I love the different colors in it.
Yeah, well, he's a whimsical kind of guy, so
Yeah, yeah.
I threw in a little color.
Yep. Did you finish the second sock yet, though?
Well, here's the problem. We talk
That's
about
a problem.
second sock syndrome.
And what happened?
Well, I did start my second sock, but there's a slight problem.
What is that?
My gauge is a little tighter
On the second sock?
on the second sock,
Uh-oh.
which is awful.
Well, how is that going to wear that? What are you going to do?
I don't know. I either need to rip this one out and make it looser. Look at the difference. Let me
Or
just lay
what's
them
the other choice, though?
one on top of the other.
See, both of them are. The beige is also not as wide on the second sock,
I
too.
think because the top is pulling in.
So what are you going to do? You can't
don't
rip
know.
out that second sock, Dinah. The
I
first
might
sock. You
rip
can't rip
the
out.
top of this
out.
and re-knit
Yeah,
it
but
so
even
that
this
it's a
is
little
wider,
tighter.
though. This is wider.
Well, here's another little secret. I started this one with magic loop,
Oh.
and my gauge was, I don't know what my gauge is, I didn't check.
So what are you doing
But
now?
it's looser than
Are
it
you
is.
on double-pointed needles now?
I finished the sock
That's a no-no, Dina.
with DP ends, and it's much tighter
Yeah,
in the
see?
foot of the sock.
That's right.
So, I don't know. Zach
Well,
might
you've
have
got
to
a
love me
problem.
anyway.
You've got a little, well, I mean, if you could take the ribbing out on the first sock and tighten up the ribbing,
It would fit him better.
that would be, I think, be the easiest fix.
That actually was his
Yeah.
only criticism, is that
Yeah.
the ribbing on
See,
this
that's
sock
why
was a
I
little
have
too
never
loose.
mastered magic loop. I can knit better on DPNs than I can with the magic loop. That's not to say that magic loop is not a great technique. It is.
These are the most amazing double-pointed needles.
What
I
are
don't know
they?
if you could see them, but they're signatures.
Yep.
These are like the Rolls Royce of needles.
Yep.
Everyone should have a pair. It's like jewelry.
So you started with I didn't realize that you started magic loop and
I
then
did.
switched. That's why you were tight on the DPNs.
I did.
You're probably more comfortable on the DPNs.
You have more control.
Yeah.
And I was worried that I would get this ridge down the middle of the sock. That tends to happen to me.
Where the
Can you see
round
it?
joins?
It's kind of there.
No, I don't see it.
It's like a ridge. You can kind of tell the separation between my needles, but I tried to pull tight.
But Dinah will finish these socks.
I will. I have to have them done because he has to have them for his birthday, which is already passed.
Oh, it's his birthday. Oh, I thought it was for going to school. It was his birthday.
What's on your needles, Pam?
Well, what do I have on my needles? Right now I'm doing Match and Move, which is by,
Martina Bem.
thank you. I'm using a yarn from Artfill called Belle, fingering weight yarn, and this is going to be a new yarn in the shop soon, right?
Yes, coming soon.
And what we decided to do on the Match and Move original pattern, she uses two colors. It's just two colors.
Yes, striped out.
Right. So what we decided to do is everyone is melting nowadays, like on the fade, right?
Yep, thanks to Andrea Mowry.
Right. So we decided to do a little bit of melting on the Match and Move. I believe I have 6 colors. So we changed up the pattern a little bit in terms of how I'm repeating the colors, right? And
How many melting rows you have?
I have 10 ridges, which is 20 rows. And the whole thing was, when do I start doing the melting? So Dina and I spent a lot of time talking about it. We discussed it at TNNA with, I spoke with Melissa. We had a conversation because she made this as well. And I came up with a certain number that I would melt at. And by the way, it is melting. We were calling it melding, MELDING, but we looked it up. It's melting, like ice melts, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and so that's what I'm just beginning. I have a lot of knitting to do on this, but it's fun because it's really mindless knitting, right?
Now, what's going on in the center there? Is that a spine as well? Does that move or shift?
I believe it moves. I don't know. I think it moves, or I don't know.
Does the
honestly.
number of stitches stay the same on both sides?
I don't know. I think I'm increasing 1 stitch with every row that I do, so it stays the same. But I don't know if I think the spine. I don't even know. Dina.
Yeah, my spine
I can't
kind of
tell you.
shifted off the shawl.
Right. I don't know
So
if it does on this.
Kind of lose the spine
Right.
by
I
the
don't
time
know.
you get to the end.
I wish
It'll be
I could
interesting
answer
to
that,
see.
but I don't know.
Stay
And so
tuned.
That's my easy knitting project.
Well, should I talk about the next piece that I'm working on?
You should.
This is my
It's lovely.
Sienna cardigan. I have the back done, and I have one front done, as well as a 3-needle bind off.
So you did the front and attached it. You
I did.
you did
I
it.
was anxious to see what it looked like.
It looked great on. You had it on earlier today.
Using 2 fibers here.
What size needle are you knitting that on?
I'm knitting it on a size 10. It is Shibui. I'm using 1 strand of reed and 1 strand of lunar. Here's a strand of, here's the skein of lunar, although the label might read backwards on your screen. It's a lovely shade of ash, and it's a very popular color right now. And it feels really nice. It's a lovely lightweight cardigan for this time of year.
The reed is linen, right? It's a linen
Yeah,
yarn.
I'll get a skein of it.
That's pretty.
It's
And
their
the
new linen.
lunar is a fingering weight, right? What is the weight of
I think it's
this one?
I'm not sure actually. I think the lunar is
Yeah,
a
it's
lace
also
weight.
fingering too.
This one I think is
26
a
to
lace weight.
28, yeah.
So it's these two skeins combined, and it gives a lovely
Tweeted effect.
tweeted effect because they're not quite the same. And it's lovely. It's a quick knit, so I hope to have it done by the next.
And the sleeve is really nice
podcast.
because it comes right down about
Yeah, it's
to your
not a
elbow.
shawl.
Do you want
Right.
to try it on?
I could slip on half of it, I suppose.
Slip on half of it so they can see.
See how
your
awkward this
sleeve.
is.
You want to take your fade off or no?
Well,
You want to leave it on?
kind of hits just below the elbow.
Right. It's cute.
It's
right?
really pretty.
Someone
It is
called it
cute.
before a dolman sleeve. It's really not a dolman. Is it a dolman?
Well,
no,
maybe.
dolman comes out like
I
this,
think
I think.
further
right?
down.
Yeah.
Kind of
it's
like
cute.
kimono. I don't know. Very pretty. Shelley Anderson is the designer. She did a lovely job.
It's nice because you know what? It's a fairly quick knit on
Yes.
a 10 needle, so it
It's
doesn't
a quick
take...
knit. It's an easy knit, but I did have to rip the front.
Why?
I forgot to do my decreases. I
Uh-oh.
got halfway through. I think I was supposed to decrease, I guess, every sixth row at a certain amount of times. And then she had written that I had to continue and decrease a stitch every fourth row. Well, I didn't read that sentence. I got all the way through my short rows at the top of the sleeve, which is a considerable amount of knitting. And I had 10 stitches too many for my 3-needle bind off.
That happens to all of us.
Quite frustrating.
We read very
needless to
quickly
say.
and don't... we miss one little detail of something we're
So
supposed to do.
annoying.
Well,
So we even rip. right?
yeah. I had to rip my match and
and
move the other day because I joined on the wrong side. That's a novice mistake.
How many times did you have to rip?
I did twice. I did the same thing twice. But the second time I did it because it was like 11 o'clock at night and I was knitting and I was too tired. I shouldn't have been knitting. That's
Another
an
thing that
excuse.
you have to keep in mind for next time.
Well, another project that I have, we're kind of out of order here because this is a finished project.
That's okay. It's our first time, so bear with us.
Yeah, so we're
We'll
really
get
all
better
over
in
the
each
place.
podcast.
This is another Shibui yarn.
Yes.
It's twig, which is a linen yarn. I believe it's a DK weight linen is what it says on the label. And this is a pattern called
Flagstone
Flagstone.
by Antonia Shanklin.
Correct. And it's also extremely easy knitting. It's 6 different colors of flagstone. I put in the field, and that's caffeine and ivory. I think this is ash and mineral and graphite. No, graphite's
I think
blue.
that's
It's
abyss.
a bit. Is it abyss? Whatever. It's a gray. And then I think pollen is the yellow. Are you proud that we knew almost all those names?
We love Shibui, so we kind of know all the names.
It was knit on a 5 needle.
Was it a hard knit?
No, it was great. It was you know what happened? You want to know the truth? I started this last summer. I got into the second color and I put it down. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. But this year I picked it up and I really went through it rather quickly. Probably
Once you picked it up and
yeah.
decided you wanted to get it done.
I
yeah.
probably finished it in somewhere like 3 to 4 weeks when I really started knitting it.
Well, why did you put it down? Wasn't it something about the way you were looking at your stitches?
I think
and
I was
felt-
looking at the garter and I felt it wasn't neat enough and did I need to be tighter? But, you know, that's the beauty of linen, you know, especially this linen. It's not an even knit. Even if you knit evenly, it doesn't always look even. And I think that's what happened to me. And then I put
But
it
to be
down.
quite honest, once you start knitting,
You just
you
have to let it go. Once I let it go, I zoom through the whole piece. I'll be quite honest
Absolutely.
with you. And you know, once you wear it,
it
you
moves,
give it a little
flows,
steam. It
it has
really,
a lovely drape. You
Yep.
really don't need to be that concerned about
right.
the tension, the unevenness.
And you know, you can wear this as this can be worn as a shawl.
I love this piece.
I think I
A
wore
scarf.
it at the show. I put it like this, and
Yeah,
it was nice
you
at the
wrapped it
show
around.
because there's always air conditioning and it's chilly. So I think I did something like this. I mean, this isn't perfect, but it was something like this, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
It's
Over a
going
summer
inside out.
dress, it would definitely drape lovely over a
Right,
summer dress,
right,
opened
right.
up.
And it was fun. It was a fun knit,
You picked a neutral palette.
and I picked a neutral. Although I had to get Field in there because ever since Field came into the store, I said I'm going to knit something
You were
in Field
obsessed with that
because
color.
I love that Field. So then, of course, Pollen went lovely with the Field, and those tend to be colors that I gravitate towards. Right?
Really came out nice.
Yeah. So
I'm
that
going to have
was,
to borrow that.
You can. We share. We share well. As long
Yes,
as
we
I
do.
can borrow your starting points.
I share everything.
We have to share. Anyway, so that's another finished project. Now, I have to say, I've also been knitting for, who have I been knitting for, Dina?
Lucy,
And who is Lucy?
the most adorable newest member in Pam's family.
Yes, she's my little granddaughter who's about 2.5 months old. So, I've done some knitting for her, right?
Yes, definitely.
And still doing knitting
I've
for
done
her.
some knitting for her too.
Dinah did some. We have to
She's
show that.
awesome.
I don't know if we can show pictures on a phone on a video. I don't know.
We'll have to try
Yeah,
that
we
maybe
have to
next
try
time.
that.
Maybe we'll have Lucy here.
Well, that would be nice. I mean, that would be a nice thing.
Do a little fashion show for us.
Exactly.
She's really cute.
Anything you put on a baby always looks good, right, Dinah?
Absolutely. Bells in my souls.
Yeah. So what else do we have? What is another thing that we were going to talk about?
Well, we were going to talk about some new things that we have lined up for fall. We had a lot of fun at TNA. Just
Yep.
a little recap.
Yep.
We ordered some lovely fibers from Blue Sky.
Correct. Yeah. Really nice.
American Scenic, is it?
Yes.
That is a, how could you refer to that? Is it like a merge?
I think we should know this, but it's alpaca and is it silk?
Well, it's two companies really that came
right.
together. If any of you know Long Island Livestock, they have just rebranded and changed her name. It's Tabitha Habold, and she is now Long Island Yarn and Farm.
That's correct. Yeah.
And she has a collaboration with Blue Sky Fibers, and it's a limited edition.
It's a chunky yarn.
Chunky yarn. Don't know the name of the yarn, I'm embarrassed to say.
Do you want me to get a skate?
Yeah, we just got our delivery in. We're very excited. We had to order, we were allowed to order a certain amount. We did order the maximum amount of the allotment that we were allowed. And it's a beautiful tweeted yarn. It is lovely. It's a limited edition. I know I said that before, but if you like what you see, you should really come in and get it. There are 2 free patterns that are actually out right now. There is a cowl as well as a hat, if I'm not mistaken.
This is the yarn, and the label says that there is 100 yards, and it's 4 to 5 stitches. Maybe it's not as chunky as I thought. 4 to 5 stitches to the inch on an 8.
It looks chunky.
It says 8 to 11, so I know. I got the impression when we saw it. It says worsted.
It did look chunky. They might have used a bigger needle just to let the yarn breathe and plume.
It is 50.
It was very soft and supple in the hand.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's 50 alpaca, 30 U.S. merino,
I'm
and
gonna have to
20
put my glasses
silk.
on.
20 silk. So it's a lovely fiber.
It is called American Scenic,
Mhm.
so that is the name of the yarn. This is it. It's you might see this backward, but it's Long Island Yarn and Farm, and that is her new branding. She is a company on Long Island. She used to be Long Island Livestock, and she has just rebranded. We're excited to work with this yarn, showcase it. We love Tabitha, and we
Yeah,
love Blue
she's
Sky,
great.
so this is a lovely
As a
merge.
matter of fact, last year we ran a day field
that was
trip
fun.
out to her farm. We got a busload of people, and we drove out to. She's on the, I guess. Well, I don't know. She's on the. Where is she?
North Fork?
North Fork, or right before it splits, maybe. So what we had to do, since we were out there, is after we visited Tabitha at Long Island Yarn and Farm and Yarn. Now I'm not used to the new name. We went to the wineries. So we went to about.
That was fun.
Maybe we go to 2 wineries or 3 wineries.
I think it might have been 3.
Did we go to 3 wineries? Yeah, it was lovely. We did some wine tastings, and it was a great trip. So, in any event, we're excited to work with Tabitha on this as well, especially since she's local to us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one new yarn that we got in for the fall. What
From
else?
Blue Sky, right?
Yep. There's a few yarns that we picked up at Blue Sky. We saw some lovely fibers from Kelborn
Woolens, yes, yeah.
Fiber Company.
Yep.
So we are excited to launch some of that. We have to keep some secrets, so we can't share everything. We have to keep you.
We have a lot of
tuned.
knitting to do. We have a lot of knitting to do, right, Dina?
Yes, we do. I can tell you at the end of the month we will have a trunk show here by VJ Fibers. I'm actually looking at a couple of pieces. We're looking forward to receiving
Where are they?
some new dyed yarns from her,
Look at
and
Let me show
they
you.
are lovely silk pieces.
It's hand-dyed silk.
Hand-dyed silk pieces are lovely. They're lightweight. They're flattering. This is one. This is designed by Lisa Hoffman. Um, I think it's called the Groovy Lace Top.
I think so.
It's got a beautiful lace pattern. I know that that's the back of the sweater, but you can certainly wear it on the front. And the front of the sweater is actually just knit and stockinette.
Now you could make it so that you could even do both in stockinette if you didn't want to do
Yes,
the
we
lace.
did sell it actually. One client was intimidated by the lace, and she decided to just make this beautiful t-shirt in all stockinette with the ribbed sleeves. So thought that was a great compromise for someone who wanted to use the yarn but was intimidated by the lace.
It's nice. It's very nice. It's got a nice drape too.
Yes, and it's really lightweight.
Right.
Very pretty.
This piece is
Lacy poncho.
Lacy poncho. I don't know who the author of this pattern
The designer,
is. The designer is.
I forgot her name. I'm sorry. I'll get that name for you. But it's called the Lacy Poncho. It's actually kind of seamed on both sides. It almost wears like a t-shirt.
Right.
It goes over the head. It's very pretty. You could wear it as a layering piece. You could put a long sleeve shirt, a tank top underneath.
I think it's it's got great
stitched,
drape.
Yep.
Nice.
Stitch definition. It's nice and lacy.
And
so
the hand
it's
dye is very nice.
And as you can see, it's got movement, which is also very flattering. So
And
that's
she has a
another
bunch
piece.
of other patterns too.
Yes, she'll be coming in at the end of the month.
Yep.
So you can check in with us for then.
Yep.
What else do we have going on?
The bags. Where are the bags?
We have these new lovely straw bags that we just got in. They make a wonderful tote as well as a beautiful beach bag. You can definitely travel with it. Thank you, Pam.
That's one.
This is one. It's got a lovely drawstring top. So you can protect your knitting or your projects. Sand doesn't have to go in. Critters.
Yeah, critters don't have to go in. The seagulls, you can have a sandwich in there and shut it and the seagulls won't get it.
It's a really nice size. It fits quite a lot. It's very light.
And that's the inside. You see it has that drawstring inside.
I actually took it on the plane. I know that it fits under the seat in front of me.
Right.
So if you wanted to travel with it, it makes a great traveling
I think
bag
we
as
also
well.
have red, black,
Blue, caramel,
yeah.
brown.
Yep. It's very cute.
Yeah.
And what does this sell for about?
I think it was about $85 or $90. We just got it in, so I
Really
haven't really
nice
checked
piece.
the invoice.
You know, you can never have
Too many bags.
too many project bags, right? Can never have too many project bags. And is there anything else that we wanted to talk about?
I think with that we should wrap it up.
You think
Probably
that's
held
about
you
it?
for enough
Well,
time.
So please, forgive us if we've run on, if we've repeated ourselves, if we've done anything annoying.
Leave us a comment. Send a shout out. We'll try to improve on our next cast.
Give us a thumbs up at least. Don't give us too many thumbs down. We want a thumbs up.
Like us, follow us. We'll be posting this on YouTube. We're on Instagram as The Knitting Place. We are on Facebook as The Knitting Place. You can email if you'd like to join our email list. I am theknittingplace@gmail.com.
We can list that below probably on the video too, our contacts, you think?
I'm a newbie, so I'm not sure if I can get that in the first podcast, but I'll certainly try and
We're
improve
going to try.
for the next one.
We'll try. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening if you've made it this long. And we'll see you again, hopefully, with some more knitted projects and some more knitting news.
Thank you so much, and don't forget your knitting for the July 4th weekend.
Happy knitting!
Bye.